Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the doll, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still the answer the call. And we say, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the doll, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still the answer the call. And we say, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. So much to talk about, I want to start with this concept in theology. I know that let me just say it like this. I see certain clips that go around and this whole Israel thing, and I'm hearing rumors of pastors being paid to say certain things that seem to be pro-Israel. We all know that people pay people to do stuff in their own sector. Let me just say this. If a pastor or a organization for Israel or Jews are supporting a person to say certain things, and my opinion is that does not necessarily mean it's wrong. Let me give you both sides of the spectrum. If you're telling somebody to push propaganda that's a lie, that is wrong. If an Israeli organization or a Jewish organization is telling a pastor, a preacher, a YouTube personality, hey, say these talking points in order, and I will give you money, or whatever the case, I'll support you, in order to push an agenda that is incorrect, a lie, deception, that is wrong, full stop. However, on another side of it, if there is misinformation put out, and this is not just about Israel, it could be anything. If there's misinformation that is put out about a certain religion, a certain organization, a certain group of people, there's lies and deception. I don't see there being a problem if a person or organization is saying, hey, here is the truth. If you are a supporter of this, here is information that you may want to talk about, because there is the combating of false information and lies and deception. So if a person is feeling that it's lies and deception, it makes sense. If they're doing it to create lies and deception, it does not make sense and is wrong. I do think that there needs to be more people standing up for Israel. And when I say Israel, I mean the Israeli people, and I mean speaking against things that are lies, right? If it's true, it's true. If it's bad about Jews and it's true, then so be it. If it's bad about America, if it's true, then hey, you gotta take it you gotta take it like it is. But if it's lies and misinformation and is dangerously close to propaganda or conspiracies that are hurting a group of people and the reputation of a group of people, I think there is a necessity for people who claim that they support XYZ to stand up and give truth and speak against things that are lies. If somebody was pushing propaganda against Christianity, meaning that big major social media personalities, people on television, was saying that Jesus was really a homosexual and Jesus was the root of all of our problems in the world and every genocide was because of Jesus Christ and the Christians. If people were saying that, I don't think it's weird that a Christian church or a Christian nonprofit organization will say, hey, man, we need to correct this narrative. And if you support Christianity or you support Christian churches or you support Jesus Christ, like, I encourage you to say something, because we're getting a bad reputation around the world when Christianity is not what certain people are saying that it is. Now, wherever you fall out on the spectrum, I'm only saying this because right is right and wrong is wrong. If you're doing things for propaganda and misinformation, it's wrong. If you're doing things to correct lies and deception that's put out there, then that would make sense. There's organizations all over the planet that support people, create platforms, create documentaries, docuseries, you name it, to correct false propaganda that's put out about whatever cause that they are associated with. And there's also ones that push fake propaganda like climate change and others to push their agenda to trick the public. You just need to be paying attention to which side that is happening on, and is it happening or not, before you make a judgment about whether somebody's paying somebody or somebody's leveraging a person's platform. All right, let's get to the liberal Chicago school leader who wants and believes that your children belongs to the school district. Roll the clip.
Donald Trump is dismantling the idea of the common good and community. One of the first social studies lessons taught in kindergarten classrooms is of community. Students leave the lesson identifying the common good through institutions like libraries, schools, and parks. They come to understand the connectedness of people and institutions and how they help us form community. The attack on the idea of community is exactly the point.
This clip is worthless to me. Give me the full screen. So today, there was a Supreme Court ruling, and it was a temporary injunction, I believe that's what it was, to allow every single parent in the nation, or let me not speak on this, because I thought I had it here, but I don't have it. But essentially what happened was the Supreme Court had the rule on whether or not parents had the right to have access to knowing what their kids are reading in the classroom and opt out of it. Now, let me pull this up on my phone, because I swear to God I shared this in the chat. But let me pull it up real quick. So this is what John Manchuku was talking about. Major victory for parents. This is what he's been fighting for. The Supreme Court just ruled parents are allowed to opt their children out of being indoctrinated with the LGBTQ propaganda. This is a big win for America. Government schools were attempting to expel children for this particular issue. And the news clip, I'm going to share it in the chat. Let's extract that news clip that I shared, and this is the story that I want to cover. Do we have it right there, right? Or no?
That's the news clip of it's a Fox clip of the LGBTQ.
But that's not on any of these documents.
Yeah, it is.
Which document is it?
It's on Liberal Chicago School Teacher, and it's on number 10.
Liberal Chicago School Teacher.
Number 10.
But there's no information about it. That's the only problem. There's no information pertaining to the judgment. What did the court proceedings say? The court hearing? I don't see that on here at all. You know what I'm saying? Here, take a look at this. All right. So let's get to the clip real quick, because this is what I was referring to when it comes to the Supreme Court hearing and why parents need to feel in part that this is a victory, and these lunatic leftists want to deceive us and saying that we're trying to get rid of books in schools and all this stuff. And what we're really saying is that when your kids are young, why in the world should they be reading about somebody giving oral sex to somebody? And they're in middle school. They're not even middle school. They got elementary school students. Little Johnny found out what his gender really was. Like what that does is it introduces sexual deviancy into the mind of a kid, who would not normally be exposed to such sexual deviancy or sexual curiosity of any type that's associated with that. I think we all understand this very clearly. Any functional adult understands this. If your kid is in middle school and you are a good parent, you are protecting your child from being exposed to things that adults do that children do not understand, and they cannot compartmentalize. So that's why when you go to the movies, it says rated R, rated PG-13, rated G. They rate the movies because certain things are too explicit for children to be digesting, and it corrupts their mind as they're developing. So if you have a kid that have never in his or her life heard of a concept of a man with a man, heard of a concept that a kid can change their gender and get puberty blockers, never really heard of a concept or at least knew the details of what oral sex was. If you're a good parent, you protect your kids from getting overly exposed to it, but then they go to school and the teacher's showing them a book about sucking somebody off. And your kid ain't never thought of this before, or they heard of it, but they never seen it. They never seen what it's supposed to be like, what it looked like, you know what I'm saying? I seen books that John Amachuku brought on a live stream with us and said, these are the books that they showing parents. I mean, they're showing your kids. And teachers will have the audacity to say, it's okay that your kid look at this stuff and you don't even know about it. I want to cuss. I swear before Lord, my God, that if I go to a school and they showing my kids stuff, I'm going to act you know what? God, I'm trying not to cuss. I'm going to act out. I'm cussing people out and everything. I'm going to have to pray about it later. I be darned if I go to school and y'all showing them trans stuff and homosexual stuff and my kid is in elementary school. I'm going to act you know what? All right, let's go on to the clip. Roll it.
Regarding religious liberty and whether parents should be informed and be able to opt their children out from reading books in the classroom that go against their faith. Shannon Bream is at the Supreme Court. We were watching for this one. What's the verdict?
We were, Dana. So this brought together a coalition of parents of different religious faiths and backgrounds who said there used to be a rule in this particular school district that would let them know when there were books that dealt with issues that may be in conflict with their religious faith. Well, so many parents were opting out that the school board and the school district quit doing it. Well, 6-3 today in a decision by Justice Alito, they said these parents have earned at least a preliminary injunction. So while this case plays out, they said the board has to notify them about a book that's in question or anything similar so that their kids can be excused if it's in conflict with their faith. He says, as we've explained,
look at these books. Some of y'all probably can't see it. My screen is like 85-inch TV I'm looking at. This is common effing sense. Common sense, bruh. If you're going to introduce something that is sexual in nature, that's dealing with homosexuality, you just send a note to the parents and say, hey, we're going to cover this topic in class. If you're uncomfortable with this topic, you can not have to participate in it. This is not normal. This has no effing reason to be in a school where they should be teaching about math, science, reading. Kids are stupid today in school, but they pushing books like this and won't even tell the parents. It's like, what are y'all even introducing this into the school in the first place for? Most kids are not in the LGBTQ. Most kids ain't thinking about gay stuff. Most children's parents aren't gay. Like, why are you introducing stuff like this into the school? It's asinine to me. Because if the school was introducing Christian books, people would be outraged. But you can do the little trans books and the gay books and two daddies and two mommies and I was born in the wrong body books. You're going to hell. I hope that every single person that is introducing this to little kids, knowing and intentionally pushing propaganda to kids to turn them gay and make them weird and question themselves, I hope you burn in hell because it's wrong. And these kids are messed up for life over some of this stuff. They're confused for life. They can't live a normal life anymore because you didn't introduce some sexual deviancy to them that they never would have thought of. And now they questioning, am I gay? Do I like girls? Was I born in the wrong body? Then they glorify it and make them feel special, that they're a part of some special group. And then therefore the kids that are outsiders, they now feel like they're a part of something, so they want to become this. They want to start being identified with the LGBTQ. Oh, I'm non-binary. Oh, I'm really fluid, or whatever. They add all this stuff into it so they can feel like they're a part of a community. Isolating these kids, manipulating these kids, abusing these kids sexually and mentally. This is exactly what it is. You cannot tell me a person isn't a groomer. I wouldn't feel comfortable even saying certain words in front of kids. What would make you want to read a book about something in front of little bitty kids? I hope they burn in hell over this stuff, because this is evil and it's calculated. This has no place in school. This has no place in our society for them to be doing this. Now, if your parent wants you to read this book, that's different. But the school shouldn't be pushing this stuff on kids. Roll it.
Without that, parents are left this choice: either risk their child's exposure to burdensome instruction or pay substantial sums for alternative educational services. Because at one point, Justice Jackson, during the arguments, had said, why don't they just go to a different school? Why don't you put them in private school or homeschool them? Justice Alito and others saying that's not practical for a lot of people. The dissent by Justice Sotomayor, joined by Justices Kagan and Jackson, says today's ruling threatens the essence of public education. She says it's not about bringing kids together to learn about a particular faith, but a range of concepts and views that reflect our entire society. Exposure to new ideas has always been a vital part of that project until now. The dissenters didn't think that the parents should get the opt-out. Justice Alito and the majority say they should.
Majority opinion.
Now, I have to understand this one thing, that there are people that think this makes sense in our society. There are people that think, yeah, that makes sense to introduce sexuality to kids to see what they want to be when they grow up. And there's those of us that say that's absolutely asinine. When I was growing up, there was no such thing as these things. And to be honest, if you gay, if gay is really people born that way, are more people born gay now? Like, what are we talking about? We didn't have that stuff in school and people were just fine. You don't need it in school. Get that stuff out of the school system. And I'm tired of everybody being weak and cowardice and trying to tiptoe around saying this. Get that stuff out of schools. Your mama can have you read that at home, man. Get that out of schools. Teach these kids how to do stuff that makes sense in life. You don't need to waste no time imagining being gay and weird or whatever. You should be imagining things that are practical. It makes sense for you to have a book to imagine being married, understanding what a family structure look like. That makes sense. Stupid, because that's what you gotta do in real life. Most people ain't finna be gay. What are you doing? And I'm not trying to hate nobody gay. You want to be gay, do you? But the kids need to be learning how to read, learning how to do math properly, learning American history, learning civics. Kids need to be ready and prepared in life to deal with finances, how to do a job interview. I mean, people should be preparing for life, not preparing to be gay and doing weird stuff. It makes more sense to prepare to say, how do you build a family? That's important. Families are the backbone and cornerstone of this country. Not all this old weird stuff that y'all trying to interject in the minds of these kids. The fact that people even write books like that is weird. Anyway, don't get me started. I'm tired of everybody being cowards. I'm tired of everybody just, we don't want to say this. We don't want to offend the gay people. It's like, man, some of y'all weirdos. I'm just being honest. If you gay, not every gay person a weirdo, but some of you gay people are weirdos. Just be honest. Every gay person ain't created equal. Some of y'all are weirdo pedophiles, people that are out here trying to take advantage of other people and manipulating them sexually. Some of y'all are predators. Just like some straight people are predators. But some of y'all, I think more of homosexual people are predators more than straight people. I'm telling you, predators. Predators against young people and predators against adults. There's people out here right now that are adults trying to pressure and manipulate straight people into doing gay stuff. I remember I had a friend, she used to tell me how her thing was getting straight women to sleep with her. That's predatory behavior. To smooth in, manipulate, and try to coerce somebody into doing something. That's the same thing in part that adults do to young people. Oh, I'm your friend. Oh, we could talk. Let's talk a little later. Let's be cool. I'm sending you a text. Oh, you never thought about this? And then before you know it, they doing stuff. And they convincing these kids and manipulating these kids. They do the same thing to adults. You guys are weirdos that do that stuff. I had a guy went to school with me. I didn't even know he was gay. I thought he was a gangster. He in a picture like this when we were in the school. He hit me up on Facebook. It was a while ago. What's up, bro? I'm like, what's up, bro? I ain't even really know him that good, but I seen him and he went to Dunbar. He hit me up one day. Hey, bro. Dang, bro, I had to tell you something. Never mind. And I'm like, what's up, bro? Like, you good? And I don't know him, but I'm a generous person. Like, somebody struggling and going through something, it ain't nothing for me to be like, bro, keep your head up, whatever. I said, nah, man, it's okay. Just tell me what's on your mind, bro. You good? He like, bro, I was going to tell you something, but never mind, bro. I'm like, just tell me, bro. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I'm brother to brother, a man afraid to express himself to another man. I'm like, I got you, bro. What? Talk to me. He go, I like you. That mom said, I like you. I couldn't believe my eyes. I say, and my first instinct was like, I'm finna rip this dude a new one. I'm gonna be like, bro, I'll kill you talking to me like that. But I said, let me not be mean, man. This brother is struggling with something. I say, bro, I ain't got no problems with you. I'm not interested in that type of stuff, bro. I'm straight, you know. And first I was like, what about me make him want to message me that? I say, bro, we can be cool, but just know where I stand. Like, I'm the wrong man. That wasn't enough for him. Okay, bro, I'm sorry, bro. I shouldn't have said nothing. I'm like, you good, bro. Just look, bro. It's plenty of dudes out here. Go talk to somebody else like that. This dude, I had to block him. Because 2 o'clock in the morning, this is back before I had a following much because I could see all the messages. 2 o'clock in the morning, what's up, bro? I'm like, bro, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. What is it that you texting me for? Bro, hey, what's up? How you doing, bro? I say, man, this is how people get killed and stuff. Once a man tell you, hey, bro, I'm being cool with you, leave it alone. You keep playing, you're going to get yourself hurt. That's the same thing with these trans people be doing people. They do all that, and then they tell you they trans on a date, you going on a date with them. Anyway, I think these people are predators. Why would you do that? Why you know a man is straight? Why are you trying to mess with a straight man? You're a predator. You know a person's underage and their mind is not developed. Why are you trying to engage in an intimate relationship with a younger person? Because you're a predator. And we need to start calling these people out. They predators. All right, let's move on. I want to go to the Karmelo Anthony situation. I guess his family is coming out and saying they broke, they don't have no money. Let me just say this from the onset. It's very unfortunate what happened in this situation. But responsibility is responsibility is responsibility. Accountability is accountability is accountability. You brought a knife, you stabbed somebody in the heart, that kid will never see life again on earth. He will never come back. His twin brother will miss him for the rest of his life. No matter how much you cry, no matter how much you weep, no matter how much you pray, he ain't ever coming back. You'll never see his face. You'll never be able to hold him, hug him, talk to him, nothing. Parents lost a son because you decided that you're going to let you brought the knife anyway. So you decided you a gangbanger, thug, a gangster or somebody, and you're going to stab a person who say something to you and think you got claims of self-defense. So I feel bad that this happened, but I do not feel bad of the consequences that will come. And his family knew that he was guilty. They knew he was guilty. The lawyers knew he was guilty. The activists knew he was guilty. They should have never went through all of this knowing that that boy is guilty. All you had to do was take your son and say, son, what happened? Tell me. I'm your daddy. What happened, bro? Did they punch you? Were you out squabbing or what happened? You got to tell me the truth or you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life. I need to know. Daddy, I got mad, man. I just had that knife in my pocket. I shouldn't have had the knife. I was mad, man. They was talking noise to me, man. I got mad. They were trying to punk me in front of everybody. And homeboy put his hands on me. He tried to go at me and I stabbed him. All right. I get it. Now we got to find something to do because you ain't going to win in court. You're going to prison. So we need to be focused on a plea deal. Take responsibility. Let's show remorse in the media. We got to try to get you out of this. You my baby boy. I can't have you I can't never see you again. You messed up. You got to pay the consequences, but we got to get out here and do what's right. Let's show remorse to the family. I was wrong. It was a heat of passion. That's what you say. And therefore, you're not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to defend your son, and you know he's finna go to jail. It's insane to me. That's why they broke. They wasted all that money trying to do propaganda, paying that nut job to represent him. I bet he was taking a lot of money to represent them, or he's going to get it on the back end. GoFundMe's. You're going to put this boy through a trial instead of taking a plea deal. Instead of asking for a plea deal, showing remorse, telling you were wrong. It was a heat of passion. Problems at home, going through mental illness, you know what I'm saying? That's what you get. All right, let's go through some of these clips real quick. Let's start with the news clip from the defense attorney. It's clip 1.
County grand jury indicted 18-year-old Karmelo Anthony for first-degree murder. He's accused of stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Frisco ISD track meet earlier this year. Anthony was 17 at the time of the stabbing, and he's being tried as an adult. The Collin County District Attorney's Office released a rare video statement about the indictment.
When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves.
Anthony's defense attorney also put out a video statement reiterating Anthony's claims that he acted in self-defense.
We expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Karmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense.
The case has gained national attention and set off a social media firestorm. Much of what's swirling online is misinformation. The full story likely won't come out until a potential trial.
There's certainly a lot more to learn. The indictment really focuses on what we would call the elements of a crime.
Russell Wilson is a former Dallas County prosecutor who's not involved in this case. He says the misinformation could be one reason why both sides chose to record statements on such a procedural matter.
I just think it's a reflection of the serious nature of the case and the heightened public interest.
Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, sent us a statement about the indictment. It says, quote, "I am pleased that we are moving forward. With the first-degree murder indictment, it now goes into the court system. I fully believe that justice will be served for Austin Metcalf. I look forward to the forthcoming trial, but it will never bring back my son." It will be up to the court to set a date for the trial. In the meantime, the defense and prosecution will prepare their cases. The defense will see what information the state has gathered and will do their own investigation.
Certainly, there will be a lot more things happening in between now and then, but certainly when the jury trial does come, the world will be watching.
Let me reiterate this. And you're innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. However, disproportionality of defense is clearly on the table as well. even if the guy pushed you, even if he punched you, you pulled a knife out and stabbed him in the chest. That's disproportionate force. I mean, they would have to be pummeling him for him to say, okay, I fear serious bodily injury or death. Not just because boys square up to fight and you scared that you're gonna lose the fight, so you stab a dude in the chest. Even if dudes posture up like they're gonna fight you, you still can't use deadly force against somebody, because a knife is no different than a gun when it comes to deadly force. Somebody's talking noise to you, get out of my tent. They try to push you out the tent. You can't turn and get a gun and shoot them in the chest and go, I was defending myself. You can't also put yourself in a situation and then claim self-defense when you were the one as the priority or the primary antagonist. It's going to be a hard battle for him. Let's go to another attorney speaking about the use of force.
The state has a very high prospect, almost to the level of legal certainty, of disproving every one of the required elements of self-defense beyond any reasonable doubt. This simply does not look anything like a self-defense case, a legitimate self-defense case, based on the information we now have. We can start with kind of the core issue, which is proportionality. So deadly defensive force was used here, right? Karmelo Anthony is arguing, I was justified in stabbing Austin Metcalf in the heart with a knife, killing him, of course. Clearly, that's deadly defensive force. So where's the deadly force threat? Remember, the legal question here is, did Karmelo Anthony have a reasonable perception of an unlawful, imminent, deadly force threat from Austin Metcalf? Where's the deadly force threat? Now, deadly force threats can appear in lots of different ways. It could have been a weapon in the hand of Austin Metcalf. There's zero evidence of that. No one's claiming that. But a weapon's not necessarily required. In theory, you can imagine a scenario in which it's not just Austin Metcalf threatening, as claimed, Karmelo Anthony, but it's Austin Metcalf and his also sizable brother and other members of the football team. And so you have a deadly force threat embodied in disparity of numbers. The force being threatened against Karmelo Anthony in this hypothetical is not just the force that can be brought to bear by Austin Metcalf, it's the collective force of Austin Metcalf and everyone who's working collaboratively with him to bring force to bear against Karmelo Anthony. In that circumstance, if Karmelo Anthony were being attacked by a bunch of people, maybe collectively that force is a deadly force threat, a threat readily capable of causing Karmelo Anthony death or serious bodily injury. But there's zero evidence of that here. Even Karmelo Anthony has never claimed that. Not when he spoke to the police, not afterwards. So the evidence on the ground is that Austin Metcalf simply asked Karmelo Anthony to move and perhaps touched him. That's the evidence in this case.
Right.
No.
Now let's move on. But this is the reason I'm almost sure that it was such a simple thing that turned violent is because I have been in these situations before when I was in high school. And if Karmelo Anthony is anything like I was, or anything like the black people were when I was growing up, not all, but a lot, white people were an extra notch of frustration for black people. White people were an extra notch of violence, a violent perception, meaning that if a black dude says something to you versus a white dude saying something to you, you get more offended by the white man saying it to you. And I've seen it when I was growing up. Touch me and see what happened. And in my mind, when I was young and dumb, let this white boy touch me and see what happened to him. Because my mind goes straight to racism. I'm on this side of the tracks. They're on that side of the tracks. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. They really saying this to me because they don't like black people. They really saying this to me and white boys think they better than me. And so let this white boy say something to me, I'm going to steal off on him. I ain't never going to let a white person disrespect me like that. This is the mindset of some young people. I don't know if that's his, but that's how I used to think, which is why I believe this escalated way past where it should have, because this is a simple, get out of my tent. No, I'm not. Don't talk to me like that. Two high school boys just getting in some beefs, throwing some punches. That's how it used to go. But how did it turn into get out of my tent, touch me and see what happens? And touching me ended up me stabbing you in the chest with a knife going through and through. I mean, you're just trying to go all the way through. That's why I think that's what it happened that way. White boy, touch me if you want to. Get out my tent, man. We don't care about you. You know, man, get out my tent. Try to push him, and then he stabs him. Boom. Anyway, let's go to the Give, Send, Go. Is this an old Give, Send, Go?
No, I see updated one.
Updated one. They've raised the goal is 1.3 million? The goal appears to be 1.3 million. They've raised $540,000. And this is where the controversy starts. This is where the family is appearing to be desperate for money, and some people who once supported them is beginning to feel turned off. Let's go to clip 5. This is a picture of the indictment, I believe. Let's go to the tweets, clip 6 of suspicious tweets or suspicious spending from the family, clip 6. The tweet post. Okay, here it goes. This is the tweet. It says Karmelo Anthony submitted an indignant packet, which is what the last clip was, I think. Indignant packet to the Collins County requesting court appointed legal representation as an indignant, which means financially destitute defendant. However, just 24 hours ago, the Anthony family updated that their Give, Send, Go campaign to reflect a need to raise an additional $1.4 million for a legal fund, which is really $1.3 million. Karmelo Anthony's mother, who managed the Give, Send, Go, stated on April the 17th, 2 months ago, that they had just gained access to the funds. At that time, they had already raised $350,000. That fundraiser has now reached $538,000. According to sources, their current known attorney, Mike Howard, is more than likely charging a retainer fee of $10,000 to $30,000 and charges $400 to $500 per hour. Where did the money go? Why did they just need to raise $1.4 million? Will they be granted indignance? I hope I'm saying it right. And appointed an attorney with the Give, Send, Go amount that they have raised. Now, I'm telling you that this stuff is a grift. If you ask me what people should be doing and what they would be doing, is that if you know your son, if you're a fraudulent family, and I'm not saying they are or not, but this is what my perception is. If you are a fraudulent family, you know your son is going to go to prison for the rest of his life. How do you maximize money on this situation? How do you get in as much money as you can, spend as much less as you can, because he finna go to jail, right? He probably gonna get indicted. So it doesn't matter. You don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on an attorney when he's just gonna be found guilty. So you might as well get legal, court appointed representation and go from there. Because you're going to lose anyway. Why spend $1 million on an attorney just to lose when you can get a free court-appointed one? And then, therefore, you take all that Give, Send, Go money, all that GoFundMe money, or whatever the case may be, where they got the money from. You take that, invest that money, buy this, buy that, set this up, put a trust in place, get an LLC started, get a nonprofit started, doing all this stuff in the background so you can continue to ride the wave of your son's sentencing and everything else that's going to come with what Karmelo Anthony's going to go through. Because I don't think that there's a legitimate reason for them to raise $1.3 million when they raised $500,000 for nothing. They need security? No, you don't. Yeah, they don't need security, bro. That's like me saying I need security. There's some knuckleheads every now and again that talk trash to me, but in reality, they don't want to get that smoke. I know they don't want that smoke because it's real life smoke. It's not keyboard smoke. So I don't think that they're in that position. To be honest, all these black people kissing their butt and gave them $500,000 and writing in there they hate the whiteys. So I don't think that's what they're using the money for. And here's just evidence, just so people don't think I made this up. Clip 7 is the mom saying that she's been able to access the funds. Roll the clip.
We were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made.
All right, perfect. I don't know how Give, Send, Go works. I don't know how they disseminate the money. I don't know if it's incrementally. I don't know if it's they give it to you all at once and net 30. I don't know how they do it. But this was on April 17th. That's a couple months ago. So if you got this report and you said take a couple days, y'all got some money in the bank. Let's go to the Dominique Alexander's post, which that dude is a nut. And this is where they wasting their money at. This is where they waste their money at. They got this dumb convicted criminal representing them, trashing the dad, making the public turn on them. It's insane to me. It says, today we were informed by the Collin County District Attorney that Karmelo Anthony has been indicted. As many of you know, this is the first step in a criminal proceeding, and now the legal process will move forward towards trial. Over the past several months, I've worked closely with the Karmelo's family to ensure that they have the proper legal representation and the support they need to navigate this incredibly complex and emotional charged case. Let me be honest. It's easy to go on social media and give an opinion. It's easy to post without facts. And sadly, even some people who claim to be supporters have shared misinformation, not always with bad intent, but still harmful. This case involves multiple minors and sensitive details that I cannot and will not speak about publicly. This is why, from the beginning, I have refused to let this be tried in a court of public opinion. There will be a trial. There will be a courtroom. And NGAN is committed to making sure Karmelo receives fair, I think it say justice. I can't see behind the camera. All right, so what does that mean? Is this another tweet from him?
Well, it's part two. It was a long post, so I divided it into two.
So I guess this is a continuation of the post. To the racists and the bigots, those filled with hate who targeted Karmelo and his family and even myself, you do not intimidate us. We are not backing down. This case is yet another example of what it means to be black in America. These people are so silly. Where even our self-defense is questioned, scrutinized, and politicized. My involvement, like many others, came as a direct response to the overwhelming hate, threats, and outside influence that have surrounded the case since day one. As we move forward, I ask that you I guarantee this dude using ChatGPT. Most people don't structure it like this with emojis. ChatGPT will put the emojis in there. As we move forward, I ask you that pray for the Anthony family, stand with us in the fight against white supremacy, support the truth and due process. We're steady, we're focused, we're committed. Let justice speak in the courtroom. All right. When our self-defense is questioned, the self-defense is questioned because there's no evidence that Metcalf and any of them were physically aggressive towards Karmelo Anthony. His defense is questioned. His self-defense is questioned because he brought a knife to a track meet with no previous conflict with anybody that he was engaged with that day. Also, he's in a tent that didn't belong to him, which is the first thing that's an issue. And according to him and others, they asked him to leave, get out of his tent, their tent. So with all of that being said, yeah, this is why people question. It ain't got nothing to do with you being black. It's because y'all silly. And then when you talk about racism and bigotry, look at the comments on the Give, Send, Go. Was that a Give, Send, Go account that we can move or just fixed picture? I guess it's a fixed image. So with that being said, these people are lying and being deceptive. The Karmelo Anthony family, what are y'all doing with the money? You should have made a decision to say, we're not going to pursue hiring an attorney to fight for our son because we know our son is guilty. Let's work a plea deal. That's what an attorney should have been doing, is trying to work with the prosecutors to see if there's any way that they can do a plea deal. Admit to guilt and do 50 years in prison or 40 years in prison or something like that with the possibility of parole. Instead, they got these hoodwinkers out here charging a certain retainer fee. They didn't burn through all their money, probably out there flossing and doing all this stuff before he go to prison. And now they begging for money. It's a shame. saying that you're indignant when you have, I don't know, $500,000 in a Give, Send, Go account. And I'll tell you another thing I think they did, which was harmful and hurtful to their image, is that they probably was getting, all hyped up because the first sign of that Give, Send, Go was blowing up. It was viral. They thought they were going to pull one of these other thugs that shot at police or were killed by police officers or whatever, and they think they're going to pull that and raise $5 million, $4 million, $3 million. And so these high-power attorneys are just eating that money up. Take that. We're going to be on the news. We're going to do this and do this. And they charging you $500, $600 an hour, and they doing 40 hours a week. And then now they like, oh, shoot, we got to go to trial now. We done burned through the $500,000, $400,000, $300,000. And now we need 1.4 because the attorney is telling them you need about you need about another $500,000 if you want us to represent you. And then they got to go up to 1.3 million to get $500,000 plus dollars so that they can be represented in court to defend their son in this trial when they know he's gonna be found guilty. All righty, I got one more that I think I can do. On Navarro, this dumb female dog is crying and heartbroken over a murderer deported to Sudan. Listen to this hoochie mama. Roll the clip.
I think we need to keep an eye and be laser focused on the human rights violations and the racial profiling and racism that is being perpetrated against, in particular, the Latino community right now. The stories that are coming out, it is Dante's Inferno, what the Latino community is living through. In Florida, they are now building a detention center in the Everglades. They're calling it Alligator Alcatraz to hold people. The Supreme Court has now approved sending some of these immigrants to places like Sudan, people who are from places like Cuba. And, and the stories are heartbreaking. That does break my heart. When I see a Mexican landscaper with his weed whacker, who is the father of 3 U.S. Marines, 1 a veteran, 2 currently serving in the Marines, and he is hauled down into the pavement by 6 masked men without identification, and his head is repeatedly slammed against the pavement. How does that not outrage America? When you see the U.S. citizens who have been wrongly detained because they have my skin color and maybe they speak with my same accent, how does that not outrage America?
These people are so stupid, it's crazy. This woman said, think about the logic behind this. If a man is illegally in this country, 3 boys that are in the Marines, that means that he been here at least 18 years. Got to be more. He got 3 of them in there. He been here at least 18 years. You telling me in 18 years you can have 3 kids with somebody, they can all grow up and you can put them into the Marine Corps, and we don't know if they went to the Marine Corps after college. Just say they went right into the Marine Corps and you didn't get your stuff right. You had 20-some years to get your paperwork right. Your boys are going to school. You had all this time. You didn't do nothing. And who knows what situation she's talking about, because she's talking about people being deported to Sudan. Let's talk about it. 8 men have been deported to South Sudan. 1 dude is from Cuba. Enrique, whatever else his name is. What is his crimes, ladies and gentlemen? Robbery, kidnapping, impersonating a police officer, homicide, armed robbery. There's another one, Jose Manuel from Cuba. What did he do? Arson, drug trafficking, weapons offenses, and attempted murder. Okay, let's go to the next one. From Laos. What did he do? Murder of a German tourist in California at age 17. Another dude from Mexico, Jesus Munoz Gutierrez. 2nd-degree murder. Confirmed gang affiliation. Okay. Somebody from South Sudan got deported to South Sudan. robbery, illegal firearm possession, DUI, assault in custody. Okay? Myanmar, sexual abuse of a child under 12. Another one from the same country. Rape. He raped a mentally disabled adult, causing her to become pregnant. Another one that was deported, that was from Vietnam. First-degree murder and second-degree assault. Ana Navarro, what in the are you talking about? They just out here and they're doing this and they deport people to South Sudan. Everybody on here need to go. They should be put to death if you ask me. If you do this in any other country in the world, you dead. No due process, you dead. You hanging from a crane or they done took you out there and shot you in the back of the head. What a dumb bee. Beloved woman, that's what it means. Beloved woman by God. That's what B mean, okay? Just for you people out there that think I'm calling her a female dog. Or I'm calling her a witch with a B. Maybe I should just say that one. I like that one. She's a witch with a B. Is that fair? Because I didn't say the cuss word. She's a witch with a B. Y'all can put that together if you want to. But anyway, this woman is nuts. They're lying to us. They're creating anecdotal situations, leaving out context to make us all feel that Donald Trump is the big bad boogeyman. And in Florida, they have detention centers. Yeah, when you got 10,000 illegals that you got to round up, where you going to put them at? They got to put them in a holding facility because they don't have enough room. Why they don't have enough room? Because these people are invisible. They don't show up on the census. They're not anywhere where we can create a facility for them. We don't even know they exist. We have an influx in population that they're hiding beneath the underbelly of society. And so now when you got to go and get them all, round them all up, you don't have the rooms in the prisons, you don't have rooms in the jails, you don't have rooms in detention centers. So you got to build some detention centers. And who cares that it's called Alligator Alley or something? That you're illegally in our country, man. I don't give a what it's called. It could be called Alligator Dundee or something. I don't care. It could be called Boudin Land or something. I don't care. Call it what you want to call it. Alligator Tail Alley. That sound good. That sounds like some food I want to eat, some alligator tails. You call it what you want. I don't give up. You ain't supposed to be here. Any other country, they be killing you, forcing you into labor for 25 years. Man, get out of here, bro. You had 18, 20-some years to get your ish together, and you didn't do nothing, and then they getting you. Now, which would it be? Let's talk about this. You got legal people out here with the weed whacker. You got legal people out here cutting grass and building houses and serving in the restaurants. You got people legally in our country doing that. What about them? They don't get no love. They don't get no respect and dignity. Y'all only talk about illegal people. Like everybody's illegal. They're not. The illegal people need to either have gotten their paperwork right or you got to get up out of here. And for all the legal immigrants that come in here the right way, come on in, come on and work. Let me know. I want to see you. If I have an opportunity for you, I'll give you a job. You did it legally. What are we even talking about? Anyway, I got to get up out of here. I wanted to talk about Kari Lake, and I might come back and do it. Maybe I'll come back and make some more videos, but I got to go get my hair cut. I got other stuff I got to do. I started late. It's on me. But I love you guys. I appreciate you watching. I got a couple more stories that I'm going to put out between now and the weekend. So stay tuned. I love you guys. God bless you. Have a good weekend. If you don't see the videos after this, and I'll see you guys on Monday. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free.